you my vote.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Rhino. Welcome in. Happy Friday. You made it. My King's Court family.
It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family.
Final preseason game of the preseason. Tonight, Lakers, 7:30. As we sit right now, Malik Monk, game time decision. DeMar DeRozan, game time decision. Domas, game time decision. Let me translate game time decision on Domas. Not playing, in my opinion. Keegan Murray, he is out. We know that. For the Lakers, no LeBron. Bronny is a game time decision. Couple other guys. What do you think the Kings are going to do tonight? Is Doug Christie going to run out his starters? I'm not sure that he will. You might see a starter or two, or somebody that might be part of the rotation string. But we'll get into that as the show goes along. Fox Sports Radio, 3 p.m. Grant and I will be on to wrap up the week. We will do our NFL picks. Reggie Theus joins the show today. For some of you old-timers, make sure that you get that locked in. Join us at 3 o'clock. Fox Sports Radio. You can call, text the show. Download the KSAC app. Not hard to do. Just go to the Google Play, Apple Store, completely free. You can listen from anywhere. I say it all the time. We have somebody listening from the Philippines. No geo boundary. So get up in here at 3 o'clock. We will wrap up the week for you. What's BJ said? The red-headed stepchild of Sucktown will be in the big chair, in the big studio. I'm over here on my the glass for the next 90 minutes. There's a new article out from Sam Amick about the Russell Westbrook signing. We will go over that today. I also have a football question that I have to fit in today. I also want to acknowledge Keon Ellis for having the best in the game. Don't ever change, Keon. That is such I would not be trying to work the out of my game if my sounded like that. It's awesome. Good stuff, Keon. Michael Scott is reporting that the Russell Westbrook deal is non-guaranteed. Interesting. It was a weird day yesterday. Super weird day. We're sitting there waiting to go into practice, talking to somebody with the Kings, and the question was asked is, do you expect any movement? And this is not with the players. We're waiting to go to practice. But we were asking them, do you expect anything else on the Russell Westbrook front today? And it was no. And then all of a sudden the press release comes out that he signed. Looked like they got it done down in L.A. right when they got to L.A. Russell's going to be wearing, it appears, number 18 for his 18th season, but a non-guaranteed deal. I posted Malik Monk's interview yesterday where he says Russell is one of the best teammates he's ever had. And I don't know why it got so much traction, but the last time I checked, it was up to like 1,000 views. It's insane. That was the line most fans took away from, and we're going to hear from Malik yesterday. We're going to hear from Doug yesterday. We've got the video and the sound, and also Keon. I thought, so with Keon, super interesting what he had to say about the offense. Super interesting. Because there's been ambiguity about, well, it's not really a different offense. We're just going to put some new stuff in. And then it goes back and forth. Well, we're working out the kinks of the new offense. So which one is it? Is it a new offense? Is it not? And it hasn't looked new through 3 preseason games. In fact, outside of Zach LaVine, it's looked constipated. But Keith answered in a certain way. And it seemed like when Doug was asked about the offense, he was caught off by what Keon said. Because Chris Biderman said, well, Keon said, with the new offs, there's stuff still going on, and we'll play it. Watch Doug's reaction. It's kind of interesting. And, of course, I followed that up to Keon. Well, okay, Doug says he wants to teach you guys how, instead of teaching you a play, is there a lot of structure in the new offense? Because I think that's part of what the team needs. I think it needs some structure, especially with the injury problems that are in front of you. So we'll get to all that audio again. A new article from Sam Amick in The Athletic about the Russell Westbrook signing. The headline of the article is Russell Westbrook to a mismatched Sacramento Kings squad. Why not? How about that? So we'll get to that. We'll get to you. Let's get to the chat. What's going on with everybody today? How's your Friday going? Again, Kings, Lakers tonight. Computer's running slow today. I don't know what it is, but it is. So let's get to the chat. See what's popping. Who's up in here? Roll call time. And we have a call. Oh, it's Tedora. Okay, Tedora, I'm coming to you in just a second after the chats. Let's go Kings. Ash says, all right. BJ Saturday. You have grievances? I don't have grievance. I don't have a grievance bumper, but we could play this.
Below not good.
If you'd like. Got to call in with your grievance. What's up, Flip? Philip. There you go. It's an interesting one. What is it? It's Philip minus something 3-7. The monitor's further away from me than you guys know, so it's a little bit difficult to see all of it. What's up, Keon? Keon Zen Master. All right, I see you. I love Keon. The only prospect. What's up? By the way, I told you earlier in the week, and unfortunately, we had some issues with, it was when the storm was going on. The line wasn't great. It might have been on their end, could have been, but I had Alexa Bliss on for about 15 minutes. Still trying to get it. We're going to see if we can get it cleaned up in post and be able to get that out to all of you. We might have, for the WWE fans, Grayson Waller in studio on Monday. SmackDown is in San Jose tonight for anybody that might be in the Bay Area. Raw from the G1C on Monday. So we'll get to all that. Let's bring Tedora in all the way from Serbia.
Hi.
Tedora, what's up? How are you?
I'm good, but it's not only me. This is my friend Una.
Hi.
I guess you know her.
Hello. How are you doing? Cool. What time is it over there? You guys having like a sleep?
It's
over?
like
10 p.m.
It's 10 p.m. Oh yeah, right. This is my friend Philip.
Yeah.
Moment in,
Yeah.
We wanted to say hi.
What's up, Philip?
And we wanted to say that we want to say hi, and we are happy. We are waiting for the new season and Kings to play. We are excited.
Love it. Is your dad staying sane right now?
I don't know. He's in the other room. We asked him. I thought it will be a show, and I was like, "Wait, it's a show. We can ask my dad. Can we come here to talk with y'all?"
Yes, of
And he was
course. Are you going to be watching the game? Are you
like,
going to
"Yeah,
wake up to watch the game? Okay.
I'm going
I
with
love
my
it. All
parents."
right.
We need to leave now. I don't know. Does he know we're here? I don't know if he's watching. He was like the first time. No, you can't get in. It's not for kids. And I was like, but we want to say hi.
No, you know what? You are always welcome here because you do the best. Well, it's kind of
Philip.
weird now because you've been calling with your dad for 2 or 3 seasons, and we're watching you grow up in front of us. It's so weird. But all right, hit me with a if you don't like that. Oh no, it's Jerry. Holy moly! Hit me with the holy moly.
Let's go, guys. Holy moly, Zimbabwe!
That's how it's done. If I was in my studio, I'd be recording that. Good job. Thanks for taking time to call. Love that. How crazy is it that with one click, you can go across the globe? That's insane. So cool. Thanks for calling, Tadora. I think that was Philip that didn't look too happy to be on camera. Keep your eye on Philip. He might be the next Jokic. A lot of good basketball players coming out of Serbia. You didn't know that's where they're calling from. So let's see. Let's see more of Max playing. I'm with you. Carf, what's up? Sounds a little choppy coming through. Is that just me? Am I choppy right now? Let me know. What's up, Dorian? Doing today? Off early. There you go. Kangs. Until further notice, it's so funny that you said that. Until further notice, I'm wearing this Kings hat. Can you guys see? It's upside down. Things are upside down right now. Play better, and I will flip the logo around. How about that? Look at there. See that? There you go. Got the upside down Kings logo going. The Kings roster under construction resembles the island of misfit toys. Hey, you don't know if Scott Perry is still looking to make another move. The non-guaranteed, and I can't confirm this. I'm going off of Michael Scotto. But Michael Scotto has put out reportedly that, let me get to it. Jared Vanderbilt's going to be available tonight. He's going to play. Yeah, Michael Scotto, update. The Sacramento Kings signed Russell Westbrook to a non-guaranteed 1-year deal. League sources told Hoops Hype. I wonder what the non-guarantee or the date is where that contract is guaranteed. You know, that makes me feel anybody that doesn't like the Westbrook signing, and I was not a huge fan of it, but I thought Malik opened my eyes to something I had not thought about with Russ, and we'll hear from him in a moment. But the fact that it's non-guaranteed, that makes me feel a little bit better. It was already low risk, but that's even lower risk. That almost tells me I'm not giving up the coaching staff or Scott Perry. They're not ready to give up on a Devin Carter. Like, if I'm Devin Carter and I know that deal reportedly is non-guaranteed, all right. I mean, I'm still a little bit bent. From Keon Ellis, I'm a little bit bent. But non-guaranteed, according to Michael Scotto. It's interesting that Domas made the trip to LA. There's no way he was going to play tonight. And Grant pointed out, because I explained the energy that was in the building yesterday, just a little bit different, a little bit lower, a little more somber. It wasn't negative because they lost the night before, but it was a little somber. One thing of note to me, and maybe it means absolutely nothing, I asked DeMar about it. Every time the team would do their free throw drills, where one guy is shooting a free throw, if you miss it, then the entire team runs it up and back. Up until yesterday, DeMar DeRozan was always the guy in the center of the team under the basket throwing the ball to his teammate, like a ref would. Yesterday, it was Nick Clifford. I found that kind of interesting. I think there is some subliminal messaging. Could be completely off. But I liked that. I like to see Neek doing that. I wonder how that happened. Did Neek just say, hey, DeMar, let me do it? Did DeMar say, hey, Neek, you're weak to do it? But that's the dude of everybody else on the team, and Domas was not in the facility, that's tossing the ball out. And when we walked in, you know who was missing a free throw? Dennis Schroeder. What's up, John? How you doing, brother? Good to see you back. Hope you're having a good Friday. Baki's probably watching some type of sport right now. What time do the Kings air in Serbia? They stay up so it's 10 o'clock right now in Serbia. We are exactly we're about just 6 hours. We're 6 hours and 20 minutes from tip-off. So a 2.5 hour game. Yeah, they're airing at like probably 5 or 6 in the morning. 5:30-ish, 6. And then they still call in on the post-game show too. Westbrook brings a level of excitement. See how he embraces a role. He's no longer the alpha dog. Well, yes, you're right. He is not the alpha dog on the court, but he is certainly going to be an alpha behind the scenes. It's just who he is. You think that's going to change because he's in year 18? No. Is it a coincidence that you've got some of these alphas, guys that are supposed to be a little edgy? A lot of people like to call them quote unquote dogs, that you're putting some of these vets around some young talent that has some promise. Maybe that's part of the plan for Scott Perry because this is a building year. It's going to be an ugly building year if you don't see a better product than you have the first 3 games. But that might be part of Scott's plan. But Russell, you don't think Russell Westbrook is going to go after Dennis Schroeder's job? Of course he is. You know, Malik, Debo, they all want it. And this is what was interesting about the Westbrook thing. Malik still has time. Debo, time is not on his side. These guys were lobbying to bring Russ in. Okay, not important. So we'll hear the audio on that, but it's a really interesting dynamic. What's up? 23 CF 450R. That's a heck of a screen name there. I don't think Westbrook is worried about the money. Maybe he is ready to play and distribute the ball. Don't count him out. I think it's a great veteran signing. So again, my issue is you have a guards. Now, Malik said something yesterday that perked my ears up, especially with Keegan Murray out. And I will give you some context to what he means by it. I don't want you to take it the wrong way. But what I don't like is I don't want to stunt the growth of guys that very easily could be part of the future here in Sacramento. That's my only worry, because there is no future in Russell Westbrook. There is no future in DeMar DeRozan. There is no future in Dennis Schroeder. They're all closer to the end than the beginning, especially Westbrook and DeMar. So with a guy like Keon Ellis, that's the one name, and then it's Devin Carter, because Devin's played really well this preseason. But Keon Ellis is in a contract year. The rest of the NBA values Keon Ellis. They had him as a top 10 two-guard free agent, restricted free agent this summer. Some publications did. And the funny thing about Keon is when you put him on the court for like 4-5 minute stretches, not as effective. You let him play and not look over his shoulder, every statistical team category goes up for the Sacramento Kings. The team was better with him on the floor last year than they were with De'Aaron Fox on the floor, statistically. So how are you going to get Keon those extended minutes? And here's the other thing that I don't think that we're all counting, or I think we're all already putting Russell Westbrook into the rotation. Oh, he's got to play 25 minutes. Does he? I don't know that he does. So we'll see. Doug Christie, certainly a Westbrook with that type of attitude, a multiple-time All-Star, a past MVP. Christie's going to like that, but it makes Doug's job a lot harder with that locker room, in my opinion. You don't have a locker room where you've got young guys that feel like they should be playing, and you got OGs that feel like, they're entitled to things. And I am not saying any of the veteran players on this Kings team are entitled. I'm just setting up a situation, because that's not how it is now. I don't think there's any issues in the locker room. But if things go bad for this team, and it begins with evaluating where Sabonis is at. Is Sabonis going to miss significant time? I know Mark Haynes put out a report that it's a grade 1, I believe, hamstring strain, which can take 1 to 3 weeks to heal. And the problem with a hamstring is if you don't let that heal properly, it will linger all year. So if I'm the Kings, I am going to be ultra cautious with Domas. But again, him making the trip, I said this on the radio yesterday. I wonder if he's not seeing a specialist down in LA for that hamstring. That is pure speculation. But please do take into account the Kings sent Keegan Murray to New York for a hand specialist. So, oh my gosh, Only Prospect says, let's see, can't wait for Grant to get Reggie Riverboat on today. I don't know Riverboat, but yep, for sure. Be cool to have Reggie Theus on. Very well known and legendary name here in Sacramento. Dorian says that hat you were wearing yesterday, Rhino, was that the hat from 2015? I think I have the scarf. The hat I was wearing yesterday? Are you talking about on the early show? That hat was from the China trip, which was 2015. Interesting if you have one of those scarves. Am I going to Raw on Monday? Not for the show, but I will be going to the building before Raw. Thank you, SoCal Lifestyle 7. So happy for you and Grant. You guys deserve all of the success with Fox Sports. Appreciate you, Justin. Grant says it all the time. It's not his show. It is our show. Not meaning me and him. It's all of you. It is our show. So Grant's not in that chair without all of you. And speaking of all of you, we're not doing anything different with this platform. You're getting post-game shows every game this season. For the home games, I will be doing them from the arena. So, yeah, we will be around. We are only ramping up. There's a lot more to come with the station that we are super excited about. So why don't we do this? I want to get to, well, do I want to do Russ first or do I want to do Keon? You know what? Tedora and friends, plug your ears. There's a little bit of cussing in this from Malik Monk, but I do want you to hear what he had to say yesterday. And then we will read the Sam Amick article on Russell Westbrook and the Kings. And then we'll get to what I was talking about with the offense and Doug Christie and Keon Ellis. And we will preview tonight's game with the Lakers. Calls always welcome. If you would like to call, all you got to do is scan the QR code that is on the screen. You can also hit the link that is pinned to the top of the chat. I will put the link in one more time for you. But let's hear from Malik Monk yesterday at practice.
Yeah. Max get it? I think he did. What have you made of just the few days surrounding this team, even leading up to that preseason game as you guys are trying to replace Keegan, and obviously there's a lot of news surrounding the team.
We got a lot of work to do, especially with Keegan out. He's a big piece of what we're doing, defensively, offensively, everything. So, big pickup with Russ. If I hope everything goes through with the physical and everything. Hopefully, we can pick him up. But he'll help us a little.
What's that addition look like in your mind with him and a whole bunch of guards?
Yeah, a lot of guards, but I feel like Russ been playing an undersized four the past few years, so he'll be used to that. He can guard a four. And I think that'll give us a little bit more versatility on the offensive end and defensive end, switching a little more. But he, like I said, he's been in the league for how long? He knows how to play the game, knows how to win, and yeah, he's a competitor, so he's gonna help us.
It looks like you looking forward to that. Should it happen here any day now because of his leadership?
Yeah, definitely. I was with him in the Lakers, probably one of the best teammates I had. So it's always good to have him around.
There were reports that some of the veterans were kind of pushing for the addition of Russ. Is that accurate? Would you say anything the vets wanted?
I don't know. Who the vet? Yeah, I just wanted to hear you say that. Yeah, of course. I wouldn't say I was pushing it to the front office or nothing, but me and Debo was talking about it, me and Jack was talking about it, so maybe they heard.
You see him as kind of like Dennis in a little bit of a way as like an agitator, disruptor?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what you to get from it. There's not much after that. I just asked Malik about his message right now to the team and the young guys, because we say it all the time, or I say it all the time. He is the guy that keeps that team balanced. When things are too low, he gets it back up. He'll bring you back to where you need to be and refocus you, not let your head get too big. And he's very vocal. And he just said, it's preseason. It's exactly what preseason is for. Working stuff out. Don't worry about it. I mean, you can't expect him to say much more than that. But what surprised me in that from Malik was the fact that he said Russ has been playing an undersized four. for a minute. And it made me think. I was thinking back to Denver, and I'm like, well, he kind of did, but here is the reality of that. He's not playing the 4 like Keegan Murray plays the 4. What Russ can do is he can switch and he can guard a 4 here and there. He's crafty. He has quick hands. He's strong. So that is a big plus for the Kings. Now, I could also make the argument if you gave Devin Carter a little more runway based off of what we had heard about his play in September when the team was doing open gyms, what we've seen in practice, what we've seen in preseason, Devin Carter might be able to do a little of that too, especially with the 6'9" reach, wingspan, whatever you want to call it. But either way, you are going to need one of those guys when you go small that can do that. So, in a sense, that made me think, all right, well, it makes sense then. Maybe it does fill a little bit more of a hole at a different spot. And it's not just another guard on this team. I thought it was interesting. I did like that. Okay. Did he do it successfully? Guard 1 through 3. I love Malik. Malik's awesome. You know what? I like it. I'm sorry, Progressive. It looks good in person. I like it a lot. Icebox, one of the best handles. Good day, Ryan. It's time to start looking at next year's draft prospects already. Ugh, please, no. All right. Look at Peter. Peter's getting ahead of me. Getting ready to get to this Sam Amick article. And of course, Peter Anderson. He's the Kings Court general manager. So this is from Sam Amick. Maybe it will work. Maybe Russell Westbrook will become a modern-day version of Bobby Jackson, the beloved Sacramento Kings six-man and current Kings assistant, who was their electrifying energizer bunny back in the day on much better terms, of course. Maybe this signing by the Kings, the 36-year-old Westbrook, on a 1-year minimum deal that is expected to be finalized Thursday. It's finalized yesterday. Is just sort of what will he need to do next edition that a middling team like this needs. All right. This is courtesy of The Athletic. There is a paywall with The Athletic, so go out and subscribe. Really good information there. After all, these loyal and starved fans deserve to be entertained while they wait to see what this new front office, now led by longtime NBA executive Scott Perry, does with this mismatched roster. No better way to pass the time than to watch the league's all-time triple-double king, who would pass Oscar Robertson as the all-time scoring leader among point guards if he racks up just 536 points this season. That would be interesting if that happened in Sacramento. As Westbrook likes to say, he does, why not? Get ready for this. I'm sure it's all over social. Brody. That's another thing that comes with Russ. There's a reason hordes of opposing scouts have been coming to the Kings games in this preseason, and not because they're dying to see if Dennis Schroeder can truly unlock the core of Domantas Sabonis, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk, and the like. It is, at least in part, because rival teams expect the Kings to be sellers. by the time February's trade deadline comes around and need to evaluate their group to decide if their respective teams should be calling. But if it doesn't work, if the ambitious vision of Kings, and ambitious is the exact word, 100%, just based off of Doug's, he's put numbers to what he wants to see defensively. And now he's kind of slowly walked those back and, to me, reset some expectations, or at least for us, and maybe you, if you speak basketball as well, and you're constantly listening to interviews and such, he's kind of walked it back and said, well, yeah, we want to do it that much in these situations. We don't want to do it that much for the entire game. We can't do that. Because if you could do that and you could do it successfully for just one game, you would win that game, let alone 82. It's why every team doesn't say we're going to pick up 94 feet. Because if they did, they would be the champions if they could do it effectively. If you were that pesky. But back to Amik's article, the ambitious vision of Kings coach Doug Christie to convince all these score talents to defend isn't realized, and they fall short of the playoffs for the 19th time in the organization's past 2 decades. Then the good news for Westbrook is that there's just no way the ending will be his fault this time around. In stark contrast to those in Los Angeles, the Clippers, and Denver Nuggets teams that he was on in recent years when title contention was the goal and the white hot spotlight often came his way when it wasn't realized. The stakes of this situation are very different. Several key members of the Sacramento Kings core do have something to prove. Christie, for example, in his first full-time season as head coach, after taking over for the fired Mike Brown last season, has every intention of showing the full potential of the Kings and the industry at large. Per league sources, the deal he signed, and this is new information, the deal he signed in the offseason includes 2 guaranteed seasons and a team option for the third. He'll earn approximately $2 million annually in the first 2 seasons, with a significant uptick in salary for the third season, should the option not be picked up. As first world problems go, that's the kind of contract that offers plenty of motivation to earn the next one. You know what else it does? It offers plenty of flexibility for Vivek to put somebody else in that chair. Mike Brown diligently went after another job, which, by the way, James Franklin is supposed to do at Penn State, a good faith effort to get employed. Like, if I'm James Franklin, I'm talking to an attorney and I'm like, can you please expand on good faith? How do I just get up to the good faith point? Because if he gets employed, he doesn't get that full $49 million from Penn State, allegedly $49 million of the buyout. Just like Mike Brown. The money that Vivek was on the hook for, now it's not that full amount. Whatever Mike Brown's being paid in New York, Vivek has to make up the difference to hit the number the Kings would have owed him. So it cuts kind of in half to a degree. But back to my point, with this owner, who I think it was Lynn that texted in earlier this week, 33 head coaches in 40 years of the Sacramento Kings. Now, Vivek was not the owner for all 40 of those years, but we have seen a lot of coaches in and out. And if you're Doug Christie, you have to take what you don't really have a leg to stand on to negotiate. If they say $2 million, be $2 million if you want to be a head coach. Now, maybe you've got some room to negotiate that back end number that would be a team option, which means if you're doing a really great job, then we'll pay you that year. Everybody wins then. Because Grant's right. Doug Christie would not have gotten a head coach interview anywhere in the league this summer. And I like Doug. Huge fan of Doug. So this is about, like when you want to get your door or you want to get your foot in the door somewhere where the pay is secondary, it's barely anything. And in this case, $2 million is far from barely anything. But it's that kind of situation for Doug. It's about having the job. It's not about the pay. But with that, again, Vivek would only be on the hook for $4 million if he decided to make a change. I hope we don't go there. I would like Doug to get a full year, personally, unless it's a complete disaster and Doug is negligent, which I don't think is going to happen. So get the article. The irony, however, is that it's hard to gauge the level of inspiration that surrounds him. The 29-year-old Sabonis, who suffered a hamstring injury in a preseason loss to the Clippers on Wednesday night, is just months removed from looking like he might ask for a trade. In the wake of the De'Aaron Fox trade with San Antonio last season, the three-time All-Star has since assured the organization's leaders that he's all in, but it was touch and go there at the tail end of last season. Yeah, we all know that. That's not a secret. He said it was the hardest year of his career. DeMar DeRozan said the same. Domas was super straight to the point. Domas, even about halfway through the season, was not thrilled about some of the things before the De'Aaron Fox trade that were going on. Now, that being said, you would have never known it, ever, based on his play. You would have never known it. That's a true professional. Back to the article. And the fact that he's owed a combined $136.3 million through the 27-28 campaign is undoubtedly playing a part in his and the team's calculus about how to handle their shared frustrations with the state of affairs. The 30-year-old Levine didn't get the extension he wanted during the summer. Still, he's hoping to reestablish his league-wide market in anticipation of his next deal now that he's on the back end of his massive contract, $47.4 million this season and $48.9 million next season on a player option. So Zach LaVine can say, nope, I don't want to come back to Sacramento. The money's not worth it to me. I'd rather take a pay cut. Or Zach LaVine could say, you know what? I just had a heck of a season. I was an all-star. I'm second team all-NBA. I can make more than $49.8 million on the open market. Sorry, Kings. Later. Zach's looked great, by the way. He has looked incredible this preseason. So, Keegan Murray, we know about that. I'm trying to pick through here to see if there's anything more pertinent. The idea here, one that Perry and his staff hope the Kings can pull off, is that Schroeder and Westbrook can find a way to direct all this traffic while raising the level of competition for all involved. When it comes to Westbrook, whose extended free agency led to so many questions about whether he might be forced into an NBA retirement, the truth is that he's a highly productive player who belongs in the league. Case in point, I spent some time with the Nuggets in training camp recently and was fascinated to find out even some of the principal stakeholders who didn't enjoy Westbrook near the end of his Nuggets tenure last season thought it was absurd that he was unemployed. So, that's pretty much it on the Kings front from Sam Amick. Some good stuff there by Sam. Dennis Schroeder through 3 preseason games and through training camp has been less than impressive in raising the competition level. I'm wondering if he plays tonight. I really am. Let's get back to your comments as you're looking at the preview for tonight. Why don't we change that for you? We will get up some information on the Lakers as we continue to talk it out here. I'm taking you up until, don't show all my email. You gonna show all my email? Don't do it. I had a special pulled up. Don't do it. Oh, gonna pull the trigger. Can't show my email. So we'll go to the King stats. Dang. And now the King stats are gone. All right, we'll just stay here. Oh my goodness. I'm glad I got that down in time. Brody, yes. Let's see. Flip's back. Philip. Can I just call you Flip? It looks like Philip. By the way, if you missed what Bill Simmons and Zach Lowe had to say about the Kings, this is what he said after they found out about Westbrook.
I hate this team. I hate this roster. I hate that Keegan Murray's already injured. I hate the vibes. I hate everything. I think this is going to be a year from hell for the Kings.
This is the single dumbest NBA roster. They have no salary cap space. They have no young studs. They have no under 25 player. You're like, this guy. They have no chance. There's no point for the team. They have one playoff series appearance since 06. They haven't won a playoff series since 04. They haven't made the finals ever. And they just seem to keep popping up whenever weird shit happens. I feel bad for the Kings fans because we got a taste of how cool it was once upon a time. 2 years ago, it feels like 20 with Light the Beam. And then they just decided to reassemble the 2023 Chicago Bulls with Sabonis. And that's where we are now.
This is the Hindenburg of NBA teams this year.
Ouch.
Yankee lose.
That was brutal. Question. Stockton Kings traded for and signed DeQuan Jeffries. Why isn't Stockton developing the 3-and-D wing that Sacramento Kings need? Yes, I do think Isaac is going to have to play a bigger role with Sabonis out. I do. 100%. It's going to be interesting to see what Doug Christie rolls into Phoenix with as the starting lineup. I don't think Domas will be back for that game. But we'll see. We will see. By the way, I got to give a shout out to Sean Cunningham over at KCRA3, one of the guys that I see on a daily basis covering the team. He has an incredible story. I don't even know if you call it a story. It's just this really cool thing on Domas, and it involves Domas, his wife, and he's talking to them in Napa and showing you a different side of Domantas Sabonis, a side that not a lot of people knew about, and another passion of his, which is, and his wife as well, is wine. Domas has had a wine last year. It was a Cabernet. Now they're rolling out 2, Cabernet and a Pinot, and Sean did an amazing job with this piece. So go check that out if you have not seen that. Also, Thursday night football last night, quarterbacks were a combined 81 years of age, I think. 81 years of age, and they threw 7 touchdown passes. Holy crap. Did you know Aaron Rodgers' Hail Mary attempt last night was the longest pass attempt in 8 years in the NFL? Did anybody else's heart skip a beat for the Bengals when that ball was in the air? Aaron's the king of Hail Marys. And speaking of kings, LeBron, you might need to step off the throne. Joe Flacco is coming for you, man, as the king of Ohio. What he's done between the Bengals and the Browns. He's great at shooting. Who's great at shooting? Peter says, saw the wine segment. Yeah, it's very well done. Very well done. Funny story. Sean actually worked with my wife in retail many, many years ago. Many years ago. Okay, I teased this Keon thing, so I do want to get to it really quick. Listen to Keon yesterday at practice, and especially the question that Chris Biederman asked about the quote-unquote new offense, and then my follow-up question to that, and then we'll hear from Doug.
Max get it?
Oh, my bad.
I guess just overall reaction to what you all put on film last night.
Wait, say that one more time.
Just overall reaction to the preseason game last night. What you
I mean, you don't really want to look at the outcome of the game. I think some of the clips that we watched during film is what we're more so trying to focus on, just because, I mean, it's preseason, so that really doesn't matter. But, you know, the mishaps that we're having, offense and defense, you know, we're just trying to learn from those things and tighten up on those as, you know, the preseason's coming to an end and every game's going to count.
What's the most encouraging sign surrounding this team right now, and what you guys are kind of hanging your hat on?
I think everyone's just what's the word I want to use? Everyone's like on the same page. You know, we're all striving for the same things. We know what challenges we're going to face, and you know what's going to come, our weaknesses, our strengths. So we're all on the same page with that, and you know, trying to put each other in the best situation for the team.
Keon, if you had to put a number on picking up 94 feet, because you know Doug want to see at least 85%, what would you say the team at right now here in the preseason?
That's a good question. I would say a 50. We could definitely get better at it, but I think also too you gotta be a little realistic as well, and also like depending on personnel and who you're guarding, like you obviously won't try to chest up someone 94 feet who's fast. So, but I think applying some solid pressure could be good, but I think we still could do a better job at that.
So looking at the situation, you know there's definitely some improvements that need to be there, kind of like mentioned a couple of them. So those things have to be handled, you know, as far as the personnel that you have on the field.
Oh, I mean, I think it's just a matter of just going up there, like, because it's not like we're asking anybody to go up there, and even like me, like, as good as I am on defense, they're not asking me to go up there and create a steal before it gets over half court. So it's more so just going up there and, you know, just applying a little bit of pressure, you know, making them, you know, kind of turn as they're going up the court, and, you know, just have something to think about while they're dribbling the ball up the court. I think that's really all it is.
How much different is this offensive system for you and your role specifically compared to what you did under Mike?
Yeah, well, we are running a different offense, so I mean we're still trying to work it out. It is I won't say completely different offense, but majority of the things are different, you know, the plays. But yeah, we're still trying to iron it all out, but it's a preseason for it. So.
Keon, Doug always says he wants to teach you guys how to play instead of teaching you a play. How structured is this new offense?
I think that is our new offense. You know, he's just whatever we're running, like, you know, the first action, if
if we can get it, cool. If not, then that's when, you know, your basketball players, you have to go out there and, you know, create, and you know who should be in what positions and what we should be running. So if like it's a guy like me and Zach going into a play, probably let him go downhill and me be the one kind of spotting up, ready to shoot. Just things like that, knowing who's on the floor and what you're trying to get to, and spots that guy should be in.
You've been relied on to be a ball handler at times. I mean, is that something that's, would you prefer to be or prefer not to be? Is there kind of like a preference there? I know you'll do whatever they ask, but
I mean, whatever the opportunity presents itself, I guess that's just whatever it's going to be. I don't think I have a preference, honestly. I wouldn't say I have a preference. Whatever it is in that case. I mean, even in these couple of games, like there's times where I'm technically the primary ball handler, supposed to be the one running the play, but the guy will come pick me up 94, and it's okay, we'll give it to whoever's on the other side, and we'll just play off of that. So whatever it is, it still changes throughout the game. So I wouldn't say I have a preference.
I guess another way, was there an evolution to that? Like even when college, high school, I still remember seeing you have the ball in your hand quite a.
So the offense part of that was interesting. Keon is much closer to 6'4" than he is 6'6". You know, they embellish a little bit. Who went more crazy? The old Flacco / Rogers, or the old Styles Cena? Definitely Flacco Rogers, 100%. Did you see Flacco's run? That was incredible. 81 combined years of age, 7 touchdown passes. Nuts. Peter, the towels are not that small. Those guys are just big. Okay. I mean, it's almost like a beach-sized towel, bro. Come on, Peter. All right. So because I pointed that out about the offense, I'm going to play Doug Christie now. And let me know if it's just me, or does Doug look like he's kind of caught off guard by Keon and what he said? Because Chris said, Keon just said the offense is much different this year. Doug seemed a little off-put, in my opinion. Maybe I'm reading the room wrong. Here's Doug Christie.
Digest maybe some of the things you saw last night, possibly negatively.
Nah, you know, it's these are stepping stones to where we need to go. I mean, it's good to get positive things on film. It's good to get things that don't work out on film as well. It's like, if it was easy, everybody would do it, and they would do it at a really high clip. So for us, it's understanding, you know, different principles, the things that we want to do offensively and defensively, what we're willing to give up on the defensive end. Like, these are little things that it takes time to understand, and we just, you know, had a good practice, drill some things, and continuing down the road to where we want to be.
Is going into LA, is there anything you still want to see or still kind of searching for, or will that one be a little bit more looser than maybe some of the others?
No, we're still, we got to search, especially when it's not going exactly how you want it to go. I mean, like we talked about with Keegan, I mean, it's just tough. So we got to see what we got, different lineups and things. So we're going to experiment with that when we're in Los Angeles as well.
How do you think Keon's transitioning to the new set of offense and defense that you guys are teaching?
We mean offense.
Well, he said it's a very different system from what you guys ran previously the last couple of years.
I mean, he's still getting to the corners. His ability to shoot the basketball, you gotta make shots. You know, being a backup point guard sometimes, and you know, there's a finding of a rhythm there. For me, it's not really offensively. For Keon, it's more about the defensive side of the ball, just making sure that we feel you're impactful, and getting stops on the defensive end. That's most important for him.
What stood out to you about how Zach's been playing this preseason?
His efficiency has been high level. He hasn't passed up many shots. Not all of his shots have been off the dribble. His ability to catch and shoot and just let it fly. His confidence is really high right now. So I thought he's done a really, really good job for us.
Coach, only 7 assists last night in the first half. Besides missed shots, was there anything within the offense that stuck out to you in the film?
Well, if you look at shot profile, I mean, we were in the 90 percentile, of in the NBA overall. If you look at it that way, so when you say that, like the ability to make shots dictates a lot of things. So if I think it was I can't think of the number right off the top of my head, but it was like 11%. So normally we would make a certain amount of shots. Therefore, that probably puts those assists at like 14 in the first half. So now it's a different conversation. So part of our league is about making and missing shots, because a lot of those shots that we missed were wide open.
Nick had a chance to, get a look at James Harden, Chris Paul, those type of things. And he said there's still a lot of learning.
Yeah.
Of course, it's still early, of course. But how do you feel like, how he's playing right now?
I think Nick's playing at a really high level. I think the defensive side of the ball, like offensively, you can see he has the ability to, play on all three levels. He makes the pocket pass, the skip pass. He reads the game really well. Defensively, he's still a little hoppy from time to time, but his effort and his willingness to compete and willingness to improve is high level. So he's asking questions. He's watching film. Like, sky's the limit for the things that kid can do. Yeah.
Coach, you didn't answer my question. I acknowledged, besides the missed shots, I don't think he liked my question either. Man, I got to do a better job, I guess. But is it just me, or was Doug? What do you mean, the offense? Like, I think Doug was a little caught off guard by that. Like, I hope Keon doesn't get any backlash for that. It's still ironic to me that the day before we hear Westbrook's coming to the Kings, Vivek posts this.
Hello everyone, back from the summer, back to work.
Still ironic. Super ironic. Doug's in over his head. I would combat that and say any coach right now with this team would be in over their head. Now, I can't fault Doug Christie. I've said this a couple times this week. I can't fault Doug for the signings. I can't fault Doug for the roster. The Kings had very little to work with. It's why they moved up and got into the first round. Scott Perry needed to hit on 2 draft picks that could see time this year. Had to hit. Neek, I think he has hit very well. I actually think Neek's going to have a nice game tonight if he plays. So I don't fault Doug for any of that. Now, where you could fault Doug, and it's way too early to do that. This is a motivated group. Doug's nowhere near losing this group. Like, that's a completely different world. It's not even close to that. But if the route that Doug has chosen, when Doug looked at what he was given and he chose the route of, okay, we're going to pick up, we're going to be the best conditioned team in the league, you can fault him on the scheme, but you can't fault him on what the situation is. Surprised the Kings media gatekeepers didn't step in. It was a fair question. It was a very fair question. I acknowledge that they missed shots. There's nothing wrong with that question. The media team at the Kings has been great. Michael, Michaela, just met Shannon yesterday. Big time Bex. What's up if you're listening? No, they've been great. They've been very fair. I don't have anything negative to say. They've actually been very accommodating. As I look, Peter, still on the towels, man. You're funny. Peter, you don't. Okay, Peter. That towel just needs to be big enough to get the sweat off. Now, if that was the same towel that you are using every time you need a towel, then yes, it needs to be bigger. But do you know how many of those towels are around, Peter? Players get a fresh one every single time. It's like the gym thing where you can go pick up a towel. Yes, we are taking calls. If you would like to call, we're going to wrap up here in about 15 minutes. So, yes, if you want to call, now is the time. There is the link. I know you are. It's all good. All good. Again, Grayson Waller of WWE might be joining us in studio on Monday. I'm still trying to get out the Alexa Bliss interview. There were some tech issues with that. So we're trying to work through those, see if we can get that up and going. And yes, we're going to be on the radio here in about 50 minutes. Make sure that you're all locked in. Make sure you have the Fox Sports Sacramento app downloaded, KSAC app right there for you. Google Play, Apple Store, completely free to download. No geo boundaries either, so you can listen from wherever you are at. 3 to 6 p.m. show is live. We replay the first hour from 6 to 7 p.m. Again, if you're going to listen traditionally, Fox 104.7 FM, 890 a.m. Be a fun Friday show. We'll do our NFL picks. We'll announce the winner of the $100 gift card for last week's picks. Reggie Theus joins the show today. We'll preview the Kings and the Lakers. Speaking of which, last time the Lakers played, their starting five was Jared Vanderbilt, Ruri Hachimura, Jackson Hayes, Dalton Connect, and Gabe Vincent. Luka did not play last game, played the game before that. He is, everything I've heard, Luka is expected to play tonight. That might change, though. So we'll see. Let's wrap up the show with a call we got Dirk on twice. From Dirk. What's up, Dirk?
Hey, just checking in. After watching that Clippers game, I was just briefly looked at that roster, and I mean, they're like 12 deep. With almost 12 deep with starting caliber players. And it got me thinking, Ryan, what would you define as the age range of a player's prime?
It completely depends on the player. If it's somebody that came out after their first year of college, your probably prime is 26 to 32 would be my guess. That's a normal player. We're taking like the LeBrons out of the conversation, etc. If you are somebody, go ahead.
Well, let's think on that, right? We just got our A's handed to us, right? By a team with what? 36, 37-year-old Kawhi, James Harden. Our team's top player, I mean, Chris Paul's in his 40s. Certainly he's not the same. But I think we need to extend what the prime is at this point. Because 32 does not seem, based on what we're seeing in the league with all of the star players from this era, the old era that are past that window, are still the premier players in this league.
That's fair.
Near the premier, top 20, right? So when we're talking about futures, and I agree, Russell Westbrook is not our future. DeMar is not our future, right? But I don't think the window is what it used to be. And I think you need to start considering in general people that if a 36-year-old player doesn't necessarily mean you're getting a guy that is not in the prime or near prime production based on what we're seeing. Because it's the only thing I can attribute all this success. I'm tired of hearing about these guys. Personally, there's no next evolution. Is one of the reasons this Kings team is hung up and can't move forward, because these guys are just good enough. They've hit ceilings, and their ceilings are higher than Keegan Murray's Keegan Murray's where he's out currently. So we're just gonna perpetuate what we're doing until they do age out or we get off contracts and stuff. So what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
No, you're right. And I think you bring up a good point. It is extending. I think it is also dependent on the player. So you have to take into account games played, injuries, etc. Because you could have somebody like Kawhi Leonard who's missed so many games and be 36, 37, yet has played not a ton of basketball, right? So, in terms of the Kings and the older guys on the roster, yeah, I mean, it's a matter of letting those contracts expire, and you hope, number one, with Zach LaVine, that he can, as Sam Amick put in his article, I've been saying it for a minute, one, he can stay on the court, and two, he can make his contract not a bad contract anymore by his play, to where a contender might say, you know what, he could take us over the top. What if Orlando says, you know what, we don't have enough shooting, but we are number 2 in the East. We're all in. These windows of, I'm going to take it from players to contending. These windows, unless you are in Oklahoma City, who set up for this CBA before the CBA was actually in place, unless you're a team like that, this is going to be like year to year to year windows where you see teams go all in for it. If they don't get it, somebody gets hurt, then they're going to flip rosters, just like you've seen the Celtics, the injury with Tatum. They flipped their roster. They're like, we're not going to stay in the aprons and take these penalties because it hurts our future. So, the time of dynasties is done with the exception of Oklahoma City right now. They have the closest shot at it, but I think contending year to year is going to change because I think there's going to be a lot more transactions with players.
And I'm not trying to be critical. You did contradict yourself, right? You just said the time for dynasties is done, and then just talked about the current dynasty, right? There's never a time
but
for
did you hear what I said before that? They set themselves up before this CBA was in place. It was almost like Sam Presti knew what the new CBA was going to be before it had even been written, because that would have been exactly what you do when this CBA was implemented, with the hopes of 4-5 years into the CBA, you're in a position like Oklahoma City where you have drafted well and you have developed your talent. It just so happens that they're the outlier. I'm saying there's not another team like that in the league. Your other contenders are going to be year to year, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, what I'm hearing you saying is they hired a competent GM that, because what you're talking about is the same in any industry. Take basketball out of the mix, right? You have somebody that is smart and forward thinking and thinks about the true value of what they have and what the future is going to look like. And if that future is going to work, because they've made some fantastic moves that people might gawk at,
right?
Getting rid of Paul George, etc.
Yep.
But just last thing before I go, like Zach LaVine has shown some improvement. I'm surprised, like more less unforced turnovers. He's last game maybe didn't shoot that well, but I was confident every shot he took. It's still not resulting in any winning. It's not necessarily his fault, but I don't think, despite what Sam Amick says, that you'll ever find a team so desperate for what he can offer, given how how not quick he adapted to the Kings when we picked him up last year, how it didn't work for that extended period. No anticipation that you're going to pick up Zach LaVine and he's going to be able to step in and be premier Zach LaVine on your team. So the Kings are going to ride that contract out, and that's not going to
agree. I agree.
Cool,
it's the one that we're gonna, or the Kings, the most likely contract that they're gonna get off is DeMar DeRozan at the trade deadline. That is the most feasible one.
Well, you know what? I would agree with you if it was last year's DeMar, but he looks like he lost a step or lost something. So
see, I can't judge that over 3.
It's too soon. Yeah, I know. It's preseason, but I got to give it time, and I'm very impatient. So
I hear you, brother. Thanks, Dirk.
All right, man. Be well.
You're the man. Have a great weekend. He's right. I did contradict myself, but they are they're the outlier. They're not one standard deviation. They are 3 standard deviations away from the mean. And there's getting a competent general manager and then there's enigmas, and that's what Sam Presti is. He is an enigma. He's incredible. He is a one of one. And you know what's crazy about Sam Presti? You can go to Vegas and have Sam Presti walk right by you, and you would never know it. How many of you know what Sam Presti looks like right now? Like none. I don't even know what Sam Presti looks like. He's just like an aura. He's like Prince from the Chappelle Show coming at you. It's just, yeah, he's so good at what he does. Question about who is going to be Devin Carter. I don't think has enough value right now on his own to get you a serviceable forward. I don't. He would be part of a bigger deal, in my opinion. They could theoretically, but I still think DeRozan is. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a very good point. It's a good point. I still think DeRozan would be the most likely. Even if Dirk thinks he's lost a step. And to his point about Zach LaVine, yeah, Zach has looked fabulous. I don't disagree with him about Zach's ability to play up to a level where it matches the contract in other general managers' eyes. I get that because of, here's the thing. This is always going to follow Zach LaVine around. If he played just like he did last year, most of the games, you're still going to have the shadow that says, uh-oh, he played 70 games last year. He's due for an injury. And if he plays another 75 this year, oh, now he's really due. That's all going to be in the discussion because of his history, because of how much time he's missed. And then on top of that, there's been concerns about locker room stuff. When he was in Chicago with Billy Donovan and DeMar, him and Billy Donovan weren't speaking at one point. DeMar DeRozan was the conduit between those two. So you've got that as well. Now, what Dirk said about the confidence with his shot going up that it's going to go in, I agree. I felt the exact same way this preseason. And I would also say the point guard play this preseason has been very poor. Dennis Schroeder has 5 assists and 2 turnovers in 3 games. It's too laissez-faire. It's too relaxed. If you've been the veteran that Dennis Schroeder is, I don't care if you aren't a preseason player. I don't care if you're one of those guys that can turn it on when you want. Dennis Schroeder should be heady enough at this point in his career, making as much money as he is per year. There's not another NBA team that would have given him $17 million a year. Dennis Schroeder needed to come in here, and even if he was that guy that takes the preseason early, not this preseason. This team needed that Dennis Schroeder for this camp, and maybe they got it in camp. We've only seen up and down 5s a little bit, but they sure as heck have not gotten it in the games. And to the question about who's starting point guard opening night, it's Dennis Schroeder. Do you know how much pie would be on Scott Perry's face if Russell Westbrook beats out Dennis Schroeder eventually? Somebody that you could have gotten on a non-guaranteed deal, but instead you're with Schroeder? And I think Schroeder will play better. I do, but it's just been less than impressive. And I don't know that he plays tonight. So we will see. We'll talk more about tonight's game. Also, we will have post-game coverage tonight right here on If You Don't Like That. So make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already. We'll be taking your calls. Hopefully, it will be a little bit more of a positive show. We put up the Kings and their statuses for tonight. Let's throw that up one more time for you. Is that gone? Where'd it go? It went. Let's get that up for you, and then we will get ready to wrap up. So no LeBron tonight. Also, Bronny James game time decision. I do have to say this about Bronny. He did. He needed to do with his body in his rookie year, and this year does have a little bit more muscle on him. I do not expect Domantas Sabonis to play tonight. It would be a knucklehead move to have him play. Malik is still a game time because he is still recovering from that illness that he believes he got from Max, which was funny yesterday. I thought that part was included in the video that I was playing earlier. That's why I said watch out for the cussing. So it'll be interesting to see what Doug does with the guys that are at least going to be the starters come Wednesday, because it's all for real. This is it. The dress rehearsal is over tonight. You have FanFest tomorrow. The Kings are scheduled to have a day off on Sunday, and it is the regular season. It's a practice at home. It's a second practice at home. Get on the plane, get to Phoenix Tuesday night, and Wednesday night the Kings have game number 1 of 82. We'll be here for all 82 of them on the post game on If You Don't Like That. Again, we're getting ready to head over to Fox in just over 30 minutes. Go grab a drink, grab a cup of coffee, take a bathroom break, and join us on Fox Sports Radio 104.7, or download the app. It's the easiest way, best way. If you can't listen to the show live, all of the replays you can find on Grant's podcast platform right now. That is temporary until the Fox new system, company-wide podcast platform is implemented. They are in the process of doing that. It will eventually move over there. But until then, you can find replays there. But download the app, no geo boundaries, Apple Play or Google Play, Apple Store. Grant will be here any minute in the big chair. We've got a full Friday show. Reggie Theus. We've got our NFL picks. We will be announcing the winner of the picks from last week. We'll preview the Kings and the Lakers. We'll talk about the football game last night. Also, we'll preview the NFL weekend as well. A lot going on to close out the week here on Fox Sports Radio. So thanks a lot. Appreciate all you. Until then, go Kings, light the beam. We'll be back with you on Monday for the Kings Court. Probably will be a 10 a.m. show because I'll be going to shoot around after that show. So make it a great weekend. Be safe. Don't forget, call, text the show today. We'd love to hear from you. 916-779-0929. Until then, go Kings, light the beam. We out.